right now. On the 21st, nothing. But then on the 4th, we have the parade. On the 14th, we have candidates.
Good evening. Today is a special board meeting of the Board of Trustees for Cantillo ISD. Today is September 21st, and the time is 4:36. Adrian.
Item 1A, roll call. Ms. Barnes?
Present.
Ms. Borrego?
Present.
Ms. Mendoza?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Present.
Mr. Cimental?
Here.
Mrs. Strack?
Present.
Ms. Zuniga?
Here.
Item 1B, item number 2, open forum. Any person wishing to address the board during this period reserved for public comment at the board meeting must sign up to be heard in accordance with district policy BED local. Each participant will be limited to 3 minutes to make comments to the board. The board is not permitted to discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on the agenda for tonight's meeting. For further information on these policies, please contact the superintendent's administrative assistant.
Adrian, before you start, have these individuals been apprised of our rules and regs?
Yes, Ms.
Regarding 30-minute open forum? Okay, the first speaker.
First speaker is going to be Ms. Sonia Freire. She would like to speak in regards to the superintendent's evaluation and the project visa removal request.
Okay, before you start my time, you can start it, I guess. Okay, I want to put it on record that the meeting's not be happening so early. Parents wanted to attend, they're not even out of word. My time has started, so I'm going to speed this through. Let me put it here by the mic. Good afternoon, board members and Mr. Galaviz. I'm here as a very concerned parent and to boldly stand against Dr. Galaviz's leadership, management, contract renewal, and mostly for a pay raise. I'm concerned my minor child will be exposed and accessed by external organizations like Project Vida, whom offer LGBTQ material under disguise of social, emotional, and wellness learning under your supervision and awareness, Dr. Galaviz. It includes slideshows with cartoon pictures, as well as definitions of gender terminology such as bisexual, homosexual, binary, transgender, and more. It's all secretly implemented under healthy relationships. You allow this to continue. Even now, parents are fooled by the pretty wording they put in the new and revised opt-in parent permission slips, where it mentions nothing about LGBTQ+, under the watch of your directors, Ms. Monica Reyes and Ms. Nancy Torres. I object in your leadership for the hypocrisy in caring for our children when stating counselors are overwhelmed with students of emotional behavior and lack of parental support. Now that chaplains are available to assist free of charge, you object. Where is the concern from your part for these students? We want chaplains like every governmental, military, medical, and even in the White House has their services. So obviously separation of state and church is non-existent. I compared EPISD superintendent's salary is around $277 to $318,000 base with 85 schools versus this way smaller district with 10 schools. No raise, and score 0 from me parent and others. Staff is constantly expressing no funds, district in debt, no field trips, no cursive instruction, with my former students victim of such, and no lab experimentations for elementary level due to lack of supplies, speedy math instruction for a ministerial good standing but no student comprehension due to instructional time. Our deteriorating campuses, where is your oversight all these past times? No custodial aid exposing our children to health risks. Even you said there the finances and administrations where you said it yourself, there's no money. And you ask constantly for another bond, even at the 2023 Cantillo High School graduation campaigning. Kids get bitten by dogs, lost students from campuses, removing parents from board meetings by security for speaking out on all the above, lack of transparency. doing secret meetings like this. Please savor the money.
Thank you.
No to your
Thank you.
selfish.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is going to be Ms. Carol Cassidy, also regarding the superintendent, Dr. Galavi's evaluation.
Ms. Cassidy.
Hi there, all of you, and the new ones I'm going to bring to the Constitution book next summer.
Your microphone is off.
It's off.
Oh, do you have
Don't
it?
go the time yet. Her microphone is off.
It's off?
Yes.
Yeah, it's off. That's
Can you
why I'm
help her?
yelling. It is off. But I have a strong voice.
Down here. Oh. Just connect it down here. Okay.
Not yet, Adrian. Not yet.
Can I get my 3 minutes back? The mic was off. The mic was off. Can I get my 3 minutes back?
No, ma'am.
We can hear it, we can hear it.
On record, no. But I said it loud and clear. That's terrible. That's not right.
Okie dokie, when was this meeting posted? I don't believe I saw it yesterday. It was posted today. My goodness, the purpose to evaluate the superintendent. Wow. And I was one of the lucky ones to attend your strategic planning in July, I believe it was, costing the district, what, $10,000? Parents there expressing their concern, no transparency by the superintendent. And furthermore, disrespectful of the parents and the families, because if your meetings start at 4:30, how many parents can attend? The room is empty here. I'm wondering how many parents are actually here. I'm a community observer, okay? I live in this district and I'm paying the high property taxes for a school district with what, 6,500? Anyway, and the Texas legislature passed effectively September 1st that every classroom should have posted "In God We Trust." Are they posted? Mrs. Fair referenced a chaplain, a minister, or a rabbi should be assigned to this school district, this tiny little district. I want to go at the separation of church and state. Hey, it doesn't exist in our founding documents. I can give you a course on the Constitution of the United States. It's in the Russian Constitution. Anyway, coming to Project Vita. Oh my gosh, so superintendent, were you responsible for that? I believe the district took about over $300,000 to promote LGBT. And then we have the pornography books in the library, in all the libraries, and the Texas legislature said all must be removed from the libraries. Have they been removed? That's up for you. I will come and check. I am going to visit the schools here as a concerned community observer, as I'll post it. And then the debts. Let's get to the unsustainable debts for the property owners here. Do you realize that the school district, as of 2022, the debt is $112,221,000? If you break that down from the total principal, that's the interest on that debt was $24 million. Absolutely outrageous. And then you guys were pushing the $47 million bond last year. Unbelievable. Totally unsustainable for all of us who live here and pay property taxes. And what about the small business owners struggling to continue? In any case, my rating for Mr. Galaviz is, I'd say you're fired. It's time to leave. I'm going to do my best working with grassroots of Texas. We are we number in the millions. You know what is the population here, almost 30 million for Texas. We number in the millions to go after our Texas legislature and do something to close down school districts, which we have too many in El Paso. 9 of them. I will do my best.
Thank you,
The Lord bless all that are here. Where are the parents?
Thank you, Ms. Cassidy. Very much. Next item.
Next person is going to be Ms. Jessica Alcantara Martinez regarding giving credit and recognition for students.
Good evening.
Good evening, but
So I'm the mother of Joseph Martinez, 2023 Ganadillo graduate. I would like this on record, word for word. I'm here with no longer the fear of retaliation or harassment for both my son and my husband, Joe Martinez, because my son already graduated and my husband was forced to resign from the warehouse position. I'm here because I still look at the board meetings and agendas, and I saw Dr. Galaviza's summative evaluation address. In Domain 4, Ganadillo High School Student Management Part, it addresses a student who earned a record 20 academic scholarships to schools across the country, which included Notre Dame and Northwestern. Additionally, he was offered 6 athletic scholarships to play basketball. I'm addressing this because I need to bring up the fact that this is my son who was offered those scholarships, and he was offered even more. He worked diligently with his college coach, Mr. Controla, as well as me to earn those scholarships. I took them everywhere. Why is this being brought up as an evaluation when neither Dr. Galaviz and his administrators, to include his counselors, the athletic director, the basketball coach, none were supportive or even made efforts to assist my son in his application process? Let's give credit where credit is due. It should be my son, his college coach, and to parents, no one else. I'm my child's advocate. He was a well-rounded student with 13 years of being a consecutive A honor roll student, perfect attendance, great leadership, was recognized to some of the nation's most prestigious scholar clubs. He received all district, all city, all Texas athletic honors for both academic and basketball, and he even had his artwork displayed in this district office, but yet he was never good enough to get recognition by the school. Why? Because I voiced opinions and I brought concerns, so his retaliation went on. Instead, other athletes and students were recognized for a few efforts that they made. Why are there entitled student athletes that are given recognition before academic students who work very hard every day? Isn't the school district supposed to recognize academics before athletics? Isn't the special treatment is given to certain students, and that is a continued pattern that we still see even after he graduated. When parents complain about this, the children are retaliated and harassed by administration. Why does this continue to happen? And it's allowed to happen. You know, parents don't bring up any concerns for the fear of retaliation. So in closing, I understand in order to be recognized, students had to turn in the college letters to the counselors, who never were available for the students or parents because of understaffing or always being busy. I, for one, can say my son was the #1 scholarship recipient Contillo had this year in academics, athletics, and monetary. When I asked him if he turned in his letters to the counselors, guess what his response was? Mom, why should I turn in my letters when they didn't care? And they didn't help, so now the school wants recognition?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin.
Something to ponder about when students think that the school does not give them support.
Adrian, anyone else?
No, that's it for open forum.
Thank you, Adrian.
Item number 3, we're gonna move into executive session. The meeting is to be closed to conduct the evaluation of the superintendent and to discuss the superintendent's employment contract and possible amendments to the contract and to the consolidated attorney under sections 551.071 and 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. Item A, the 2023-2024 evaluation of the superintendent. 1, domains. A, domain 1, leadership. B, domain 2, personal management. C, domain 3, administration and fiscal facilities management. D, domain 4, student management. E, domain 5, professional growth and development. F, domain 6, schools and community relations. G, domain 7, board superintendent relations. H, domain 8, supervisory responsibilities. Number 2, assessment tool.
Said that, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve what was discussed in closed session, to include the 3%, which our employees got in the TRS contribution.
I didn't hear that, sir.
The 3%, which was what was given to our employees and the TRS contribution.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Adrian,
Any discussion?
any discussion?
Yes, I would like to add something.
I am a elected official, elected by the community, and I feel responsibility towards our community. I've been heard a lot of disagreement and a lot of unhappiness from our community, from parents. What I would like to state, my statement is that Dr. Galaviz is not transparent, is inaccurate, is insulting, is untruthful, and offensive. He did it with me the last time, censored me unfully. He shouldn't be doing this, and I'm not agree with this. Thank you. And with his extending his contract, and not even with 3% at all.
Thank you, Ms. Pratt. Anyone else?
If I may. I want to just make it clear because on the floor it is both approving of his contract for another year and.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, please
There's
clarify.
no motion to approve with the extension of this contract. There's just the 3% and the TRS contribution.
Okay, perfect. Thank
And
you.
what I said, I want it for the record, please. I would like to repeat it, if it's necessary. I said that Dr. Galaviz is not fitted to be any more superintendent from County CISD. Not transparent, inaccurate, insulting, untruthful, and offensive. Thank you. For the record.
Thank you, Ms. Pratt.
Do you want to clarify that? There is no motion to extend his contract? That's not the motion.
No, the motion was the 3%, but I will say when we voted. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I would like to. I believe that as a newly elected board member, I think there's a lot of work that we need to do. I consider myself a fair person. I think people deserve an opportunity, that we set expectations and that we work on those expectations. I struggled a lot with a couple of things, but I want it on the record that for me, it's important that those expectations be set and that we work hard together, all of us, with the superintendent, to be reflective and to grow.
Just one thing before we take the actual vote. Mr. Rodriguez as vice chair and me as chair will be meeting with Dr. Galaviz in the very near future to go over his evaluation and the concerns expressed by board members. And with that said, Adrian, can you poll the board, please?
Ms. Barnes?
No, due to the fiscal situation we are in.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Cemental?
Yes.
Mrs. Stroud?
No, with the statements that I already stated by the record. Thank you.
Ms. Zuniga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next item of order, next item of business.
New business A, comments and or results regarding the 2023-2024 annual evaluation of the superintendent and possible action regarding amendments, if any, to the superintendent's employment contract.
That was
So, here's the contract.
No, we just approved it.
what's
It says if any.
we didn't bring go back to the original. We didn't was
I feel like we have to vote on his actual evaluation. Not
Yes.
4A has it.
So you can.
It says possible actions regarding amendments.
What is?
Was it?
I feel like there needs to be a motion just on
Okay.
his annual evaluation alone. approve that.
Well, just so that way we don't have to have another board meeting, okay?
Right.
We'll just make another motion. Patsy, let's just make another motion to approve, Dr. Calavise's evaluation and with amendments that, were already brought up in the first motion, the 3% and then the TRS contribution. That's a motion.
Steve Blanco has already provided Amendment 11, and it includes what you just voted on, the 3% and the TRS contribution.
Okay.
So we don't need to do the actual eval separately or anything like that?
Okay.
The original was confusing.
The amendment was already approved.
The question is, I just want to do it just in case because I don't know if there's any technical issues because we did not read the agenda item before we.
So let's just do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I make a motion to approve the superintendent's evaluation to include the amendments as provided by staff.
Do I have a second?
It's amendments, it's included.
Second.
I do have a question. Which are the amendments?
The two ones that we already voted on.
The 3%.
The TRS.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Barnes?
No.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Cimental?
Yes.
Ms. Trump?
Not for the reasons that I stated already.
Ms. Zuniga?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 5A, Board of Trustees business, discussion and possible action with reference to issues relating to district's governance policies and other policy issues resulting from discussion during the policy review session with administrators. Presenter, Ms. Martha Carrasco and Eric Narcisse.
I thought we were gonna vote on this.
No, we're gonna go down here real quick. So, actually, if you just wanna come up here, I think this is what I was gonna say. And this is what my motion's gonna be.
Yeah, we have a
So,
motion.
during LSG training, we talked about, in regards to the superintendent's work and the board work. And I think over the years, the board has gotten involved in too much of the superintendent's work. And so there was two ways of going about it. One was to actually get rid of all the local policies that have been created that are not required by law. That are required by law. So we would get rid of all local policies, switch them over to administrative regs, and then if there's any policy that anybody wants to address, we could bring it back. But that's how you would do the policy diet, is to move any local policy that could be moved to administrative reg, move it into administrative reg. And then the other option is looking at every policy and deciding if we want to keep. My recommendation is to give direction to our TASB representative to go ahead and look at the local policies that could be moved to the administrative regs and those that need to stay as local policies to complement our legal policies. That's what the board is. That's what I would recommend, and that's my motion.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I second.
Can we do comment?
Absolutely.
Yes, so I have a question. So if we want, I know you said bring back any policy, how do we go about doing that, or how would that work?
Good evening, board. My name is Eric Narcisse with TASB Policy Service. So just a little bit about the policy review. Started several months ago with a questionnaire from staff. and I asked them to complete that based on what the practice is. So I used that and I came prepared to talk with them, which we did over the last 2 days. Very engaged, very informative, and we talked about the practice. And as I prepped for your policy review, there were a number of administrative provisions that were in the board policy, and we talked about removing those. And I mentioned to them, because the superintendent did mention about LSG and the district going through that process, I mentioned to them that I kind of took an LSG light, LIT approach in reviewing your policies and making recommendations about things that can come out. So what the plan is I'm taking all of the information that I've gathered over the last 2 days. I will put together drafts of these policies. All we did today, all they helped me do today was gather the information and review recommendations for those policies. So probably around mid to late October, I will be sending back to the district those drafts. And based on what I'm hearing now, I can probably flip the switch to LSG heavy with some of these policies. And I had worked with a district before where we begin the process of determining what really needs to be in policy and what could be an administrative reg. And if you talk to your administrators who've been with me for the last 2 days, you'll hear that's basically what I've been talking about during that policy review. So within the guidance you give me, that'll help me to determine. There are some policies, and I mentioned this to them, that you probably don't need. It could be all administrative reg. It's there because it's a best practice, or it's a risk mitigation purpose, which could still be handled through an administrative reg. So depending on how you all vote, if I get the guidance, go with the policy guide, I'll probably take a look at the policies once again and make additional recommendations on top of the ones that I had initially proposed.
And we'll get to see that.
Yes, because policies can only be changed by you.
Okay.
Yeah. And the idea, it'll come back to the district, there will be drafts, and there's actually going to be attached to it a response sheet. And on that response sheet, the district has the option of, yes, we want to make the revisions proposed. No, we want to keep the policy as is. Or, yes, we like some of those revisions, but we want others. So the board, probably in a workshop setting, it'll be up to the superintendent to kind of determine how to present those to you, because there are quite a few that you will be looking at. It's bigger, much bigger than an update. And there are other policies I probably will pull in. There are some that I did not bring with drafts, but listening to the guidance I'm getting, there are probably additional policies I will pull in and make a recommendation to maybe delete entirely, because they don't satisfy one of the 4 or 5 reasons that a policy should exist. The law requires it. The law requires you to make a choice. You're delegating authority to the superintendent. Those are really the 3 main reasons.
Yeah, there's like, I believe the student code of conduct has to still have a local policy that has to be approved by.
Well, you adopt the student code of conduct.
Yeah.
So it's not.
That's a local policy.
It essentially, essentially it is your policy. So it's your discipline policy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, one, we're gonna be able to, the board has a vote to approve the recommendations provided, and then there's always room for us to create policy if we wanted to.
True.
I do have a question, Madam Chair. Since we haven't here the person from CISD, hi, my name is Lenka Trent.
Hi.
I do have a question in regards to policies. Hopefully my question fits in here. Like everyone, the trustees, we should approve the policy in regards of emergency preparedness. I can remember that we ever approved that or revised that at all.
Which policy?
Emergency preparedness.
Well, I think and you might need to give me more information.
Yes, for example, how the school district is prepared in case of emergency. where are we gonna be in the unification, reunification centers, what happened in case of flooding, fire, and everything. We should have some policies in order about this, and we need to revise and revisit every year, everyone.
Well, technically, in the term policy gets used in conjunction or sometimes in substitute for the term procedure or plan. So you do have a policy that talks about the superintendent preparing an emergency operations plan, and that's policy CKC local. It's really only a one paragraph policy because if we go back to the policy, what the board approves is one paragraph. But every policy might require a regulation to implement it. So essentially your policy CKC states that the emergency operations plan will be developed by the superintendent. So the board isn't technically adopting that as a policy,
We need to
but you
adopt-
have oversight over that plan. And that's totally up to the board. Now, I will say, and I don't know if you all voted about the LSG, if that's the route you want to
I've
take.
been taking that several times.
Yeah, LSG, it probably would be more of a management decision than a board.
Yes, but I was taking a training yesterday, the day before yesterday, about emergency preparedness, and we were told that these policies, we need to review overall, that we have some new board members they would like to see. What is the CKC, or what do we have as an emergency preparedness? I don't remember that we ever review or revisit that. It's something very important, you know?
It's-
Shootings or something.
I think it's a plan, not necessarily a policy.
I was
Emergency
told it was
operation.
a policy, I was told. But
You could
But
probably
he
look at our
mentioned
policy, but-
CKC.
CKC local, and you can pull that up in your policy online. It's really just a one paragraph, might be one paragraph with several listed items. It talks about the emergency operations plan, which is developed by the superintendent.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm good. Anyone else? There's a motion and a second. Adrian?
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Borrego,
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Cimenta,
Yes.
Ms. Strout,
Yes.
Ms. Zuniga.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item.
Was that easy?
That's very easy.
Go enjoy some Mexican food.
I do that.
Still a little early. Adrian, take
Next
us
item
home,
is gonna be
buddy.
item number 6, meeting adjournment. Time is 7:50 p.m.
Is it off? You turn off over.
All of us?
No, just you.